Hey, what's up, YouTube? We are back for part 2 of B.J.Penn, a career retrospective. We had left off with Penn beating Hughes and leaving the UFC as the 170-pound champ. After leaving, he fought in K1 a few times. He even fought Lyoto Machida in an open weight match. Machida came in at 225 pounds and Penn came in at 191 pounds. Machida won the fight by decision. He's the same guy who would go on to be the UFC light heavyweight champion years later at 205. The fact that he fought Machida shows how brave Penn was. He had no business fighting someone that much bigger than him, and it was low reward since at that time Machida was relatively unknown. That's the same Machida that would fight John Jones and knock out Rashad Evans. Penn was visibly out of shape for that fight. For his frame, he should have not been at that kind of weight. It is impressive though, he didn't get knocked out, since he was such a smaller guy. Penn definitely had a good chin and power in his hands too. A lot of fighters say any one, any place, any weight, but Penn actually meant it. That is something pound for pound fighters are supposed to do, go up in weight class. Penn would return to fight GSP at UFC 58. It was a title eliminator fight to see who would get to fight for the welterweight championship. Penn started the fight fast and put pressure on GSP. He had him backing out most of the round. He was able to land the cleaner punches. He was quicker, and GSP's face showed it. He had bruises, cuts, and a busted nose. GSP tried to put Penn on the cage and then tried to take him down, but he couldn't secure it. Penn had too much takedown defense. His balance and flexibility allowed him to stay on his feet. It was a sight to behold seeing him balance himself on one foot. Penn won the first round clearly. In the second round, GSP was able to take him down, with some effort. GSP would go on to win a split decision. I think Penn could have won that fight if he had only come in better shape, because he gassed out, which would be a problem for him during his career. That was a major issue with Penn, inconsistency. He had the ability to get in shape, but sometimes didn't. In his next fight, even though he was coming off a loss, Penn was able to get a rematch with Hughes for the welterweight title. However, he ended up losing that fight due to his conditioning. He gassed out badly, and Hughes was able to put him in a crucifix position in which he was not able to defend himself from punches and elbows, so it was considered a TKO stoppage. Again, he could have won that fight if only he had come in good shape. Next, Penn would move back to lightweight to rematch with Jens Pulver. He had a dominant performance in which he won by submission. He won by rear naked choke in the second round. If you go back and you watch the finish, you would see what kind of dexterity he had in his legs. He used one of his legs to trap Pulver's left arm and then easily secured the rear naked choke. He used his legs like people use their arms. That win earned him the right to fight the new vacant 155 pounds title against Joe Stevenson. He would go on to have a dominant performance and easily win by submission in the second round. He won by rear naked choke. Penn caused such a bad cut on Stevenson, it was not a pretty sight. He was leaking from his forehead like a faucet. At lightweight, when Penn showed up in shape, he seemed pretty much unbeatable. In a one-fight scenario, if Penn got in fight shape, to be honest, he has the chance to beat any other 155-pound champion ever, including Khabib and Makhachev. I know most people could not fathom such a thing because of how Penn's career turned out, but styles make fights. How would Khabib deal with not being able to take him down? And he would be forced to strike with him, and Penn has the better striking. Penn has the heavier hands and the quicker hands. Khabib wouldn't finish Penn in the first few rounds, and he tends to get tired in the later rounds. It would be a hard-fought fight, and I would love to have seen it in their primes. Both Penn and Khabib hold 4 title wins and 3 title defenses at 155. So how can people praise Khabib as the greatest 155-pound champ and disregard Penn as an afterthought? I would also have liked to see Penn versus Conor go at it. I think it would have been an exciting match while it lasted. I think Penn would end up submitting him. I remember Penn saying how at 155, he didn't feel the opponent's punches because they didn't hit as hard. It is because he had an iron chin. As champ, Penn went on to defend his title against Sean Sherk with a vicious flying knee and follow-up punches. After that, Penn moved back up to fight GSP for the welterweight championship. In that fight, GSP put Penn up against the cage because he didn't want to strike with him. Not early, of course, as Penn was faster. It has to be noted that there was a controversy on how GSP's cornerman put Vaseline on his shoulders in between rounds. When Penn was put on his back and he was trying to defend position by using his legs, they would keep on slipping down due to the grease. GSP's coach said that it was unintentional and that it was part of a breathing technique they do, but in my opinion, it was intentional. In my eyes, that tainted GSP's victory because he had to cheat in order to secure the win. GSP felt the first fight was tough, so he wanted to make it easier on himself. I'm surprised nobody talks about that anymore. It was so unnecessary to do anyways. He most likely would have won the fight. However, probably not as dominant. The fight result was a corner stoppage before the 5th round started, because Penn was taking too many hits to the head on the ground. Penn dared to be great by going up to 170 pounds again, but he came up short. To this day, he is the only lightweight champ to ever move up and win the 170-pound title. Alright guys, that's all for today. Follow up with part 3 where we'll be finishing Penn's career, a recap. If you like the content, like and subscribe. Thanks.